I'm Sarah Hashimaris from the Los Angeles Times newsroom. As we inch closer to the 85th Annual Academy Awards show this Sunday at the Dolby Theatre here in LA, film fans are placing last-minute bets on their winning picks in a stellar year for silver screen hits and performances. To kick off our pre-Oscars coverage, I chat with Times staff writer John Horn about whom he thinks will win this year and more. John, so let's start with the money aspect. This year's Oscar show could be the most pricey. Why is that?
Well, it's because it's a close race. I mean, and you also have two big studios with leading contenders. You have Argo, which is a Warner Brothers film, and you have Lincoln, which is Disney and DreamWorks, and they each think they can win the Best Picture race. They're spending, by our estimate, at least $10 million, and by some people's estimates, at least $20 million on their Oscar campaign, which is at least double, if not triple, if not higher, the usual budget for an Oscar campaign.
So a lot of money is being spent. Are there any clear-cut winners at this point?
Well, the Oscar strategists and the people who are taking out all those for your consideration ads, certainly winners. I mean, it's hard to know. I think Argo going into the evening is probably the slight favorite to win the Best Picture. Daniel Day-Lewis is almost certainly going to win Best Actor for Lincoln. Anne Hathaway is most certainly going to win Best Supporting Actress for Les Miserables. I think outside of that, the top races are pretty wide open.
You mentioned Lincoln. Could this potentially be the first ever Best Picture win for Walt Disney?
It could be. I mean, amazingly enough, the Walt Disney Studios, which released Lincoln, has never won a Best Picture Oscar. So if Lincoln wins, they would end that history. I think the more interesting historical question is if Argo wins Best Picture, it'll be the first Best Picture winner since 1989's Driving Miss Daisy to win Best Picture without its director, in this case Ben Affleck, being nominated for making it.
And then historically, the audience for the Oscars is sort of an older age group. What can we expect this year?
Well, I mean, they're trying to bring some youth into the show. Seth MacFarlane is hosting for the first time. The real issue is, even though there are 6 movies this year nominated for Best Picture that have grossed more than $100 million, so you have a lot of very popular films, those films play to an older audience, and the median age of the Oscar television audience is growing older and older every year. So can Seth MacFarlane bring it down? I mean, the Academy is certainly hoping so, but then you have Barbra Streisand, you have a 50th anniversary tribute to James Bond, so a lot of the pieces in the show don't play to a younger audience.
All right, we'll wait and see how it pans out. Thanks, John.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Also slated for Sunday are the Times' 4 Oscar preview covers in the calendar section. Assistant Managing Editor Michael Whitley shows me what's in store. Michael, tell me about this year's Oscars preview covers.
Well, each year we do a unique calendar cover in celebration of the Oscars. This year we decided to do 4 different ones, and the reason for that is the Best Picture nominees were so different, such different types of films, that we felt like we wanted to do something that really showed a range of creativity, that same kind of visual creativity. So we assigned 4 illustrators with very different styles, each to come up with a concept and to do one of the 4 Oscar covers that we would make available for calendar. And so we assigned the illustrations. The artists each send in anywhere from 5 to 12 sketches, and then we narrow it down to the sketch we think is going to work the best and tell the best story. And then we work on the art until it's done, and then obviously we printed the covers.
And so what sort of timeline are you guys working with? How early do you contact these guys?
Between 2 and 3 weeks before we're going to print the sections. We like to try to give people as much notice as we can. And then also just to make sure that we have time to make revisions and everything. So usually about 3 weeks before, we'll call them and ask them, make sure that they're interested. We've never had anyone particularly say they weren't interested. You know, I think the artists like being associated with our coverage of the Oscars. And so then once they've agreed to it, then we have that window of anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks to get the art completed in the way that we want it.
And this year there are 4 preview covers. In the past there have been 6. Why 4 this year?
Some of it has to do with the complications of the press run. We always want to make sure that what we're printing is something we can print really well and that's not going to overcomplicate or overburden our printing facility. So this year 4 was the number that would make the most sense, and it was also, luckily for us, the number that we felt like we had really strong ideas for.
And then on Monday there's also going to be, the wins are going to be covered in the paper as well.
Yes,
what can
actually
you tell me
I think
that?
one of our best sections we do over the course of a year is our Oscars coverage section that'll be in the Monday paper, and it has all the photography, all the winners, you know, the dresses, the details of the clothing, all the things that you want to see, and plus a lot of things that you don't see in the Oscars broadcast that you see in our special section.
And any sort of themes that readers can expect?
You know, I think the main thing is just the glamour. Like with that section, we actually dress it up. We put our calendar section in its formal clothes for Oscar Day. It wears a black flag and has gold trim, and you know, I think really the main overarching thing is just the beauty and all the fashion.
All right, great. We'll keep an eye out for it. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
So far, we've covered winning Oscar picks and Sunday's unique art covers. And now for the main course, Time's test kitchen manager, Noelle Carter, cooks up some Hollywood-themed treats for your Oscar viewing party.
So it's the Oscars this weekend, and if you're hosting a party, boy, have we got the treats for you. We've got everything from fancy to down home, you name it, we've got it. I've got a chocolate chiffon cake. It's a classic Hollywood dessert. No party is complete without deviled eggs. We've got Philly cheesesteak wraps if you're feeling a little Silver Linings Playbook. We've got caramel popcorn, and no Oscar party is complete without a champagne cocktail. So what I'm going to demo today is homemade caramel popcorn. You would not believe how easy this is to make. So the first thing we're going to do is heat up our popcorn and our nuts. I'm going to combine everything in a massive bowl. 12 cups of popcorn, we've got our pecans, we've got some almonds, and some peanuts. If you want other nuts, go ahead and switch it up. This is your caramel corn. So while you're heating up your popcorn and nuts, in a large heavy bottom saucepan, combine some butter, brown sugar, corn syrup, and salt. Heat the pan on high, stirring to combine everything, just until it comes to a boil and reaches 255 degrees. Then remove it from heat, stir in some baking soda, and you're good to go. Pour the caramel quickly over the popcorn and toss to coat it evenly. Divide the popcorn between 2 baking sheets and place them in the oven. Bake, stirring occasionally until the caramel dries and hardens, about 1 hour. Remove the trays, trying not to eat that hot caramel popcorn, and allow it to cool. You can make this popcorn up to 2 days in advance.
Be sure to check in from your laptop or mobile device with our live Oscars coverage as film critic Kenneth Turan and staff writer Robin Abkarian provide commentary and express their delight or dismay about the proceedings during the show's commercial breaks. The Times will also be on the red carpet with exclusive interviews, and if you haven't yet cast your online play-at-home ballot, you can still do so by visiting the link below.